Hey guys, this is a standard 4th gen OU match versus JewishAccountant. Nice name, bro. Uh, anyway, I'm going to lead off with my choice band Azov, and he goes with a Smeargle. I'm not really sure what set it is, but he actually outspeeded me and got the Spore off. So then I realized that it was a Scarf Smeargle, which is a pretty cool set, by the way. Yeah, I've used it a couple times. And now we both go into our Scarf Flygons because we're both trying to get the U-turn out and scout each other's teams. And I actually outspeed him and get the first U-turn off, which is good. So either that tells me that he's adamant or I just want a speed tie, because I'm running a Jolly Flygon here. And I go into Heatran because I know he's definitely not going to go for an Outrage. Although that wouldn't even have mattered actually because I went to Heatran. But yeah, I was definitely expecting a U-turn, so I went into Heatran just to take that. And he goes into a Gyarados. Now that I've revealed Flygon, I know he's going to go for a Waterfall instead of Dragon Dance because I have Thunder Punch waiting to check him. And I just go into Jirachi because, although it does take some pretty significant damage, it's at least bulkier than Flygon, so it's not too bad. And plus I have the Leftovers recovery anyway. And I went for a Psychic instead of a Thunderbolt. I don't even have Thunderbolt actually, I was just trying to scare him out, trying to bluff it, to be honest. And he has a Blissey, which is going to be really annoying because it walls a lot of Pokemon on my team. But I'm going to have to come up with a plan for getting rid of that thing. So anyway, I'm going to Heatran, and I'm planning to bluff an Explosion here, pretending like I'm trying to take out Blissey with Explosion. But in reality, I'm going to double switch to Gengar, predicting a Gyarados switch in, just to get, well, you'll see I have something planned out for him. So anyway, he goes into Gyarados, and now I pull out a Thunderbolt, which was kind of a surprise move. It's not really that common since everyone's expecting Sub-Split Gengar now, although I like this set a lot better. I'm using Hasty with 40 attack EVs, and Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, Thunderbolt, and Explosion, actually, just to get rid of Blissey. And now he goes into a Jirachi of his own. I'm not sure what set it is, so I'm just going to go into Heatran, because it's a pretty good counter to most Jirachi sets, except maybe HP Ground Super Jirachi, although that's really rare. I think only I would use something like that. And he tries to get some Calm Minds in. Turns out it's a sub-CM set, so I'm going to have to get rid of that as soon as possible. This is going to be a little awkward now because he's just going to keep subbing, and hopefully I don't miss a Fire Blast, or else he could get a few too many stat boosts, more than I'm comfortable with. So I'm just going to have to stay in with Heatran and keep breaking his subs because there's really nothing else I would have to do. Even if he manages to KO Heatran, at least I have my Scarf Flygon waiting to check him. So it's not like I'm going to get completely swept by it or anything. And he goes for another Calm Mind, and I thought about Fire Blast, but I'm not really sure if that's the best move because he's gotten in a couple of Calm Mind boosts by now, so it might not even do that much. So yeah, I went for another Fire Blast, but I ended up missing, which was annoying. He goes for a Thunderbolt, but Heatran is pretty bulky, even without specially defensive EVs. So I just decided to end things with a bang, quite literally actually, and go with Explosion. I'm not really sure if that was the best move, but I really didn't want to risk another Fire Blast miss, and it did a pretty decent amount of damage anyway. Except that he gets up a sub, so that's really annoying. Maybe I should have used Fire Blast after all. So since Flygon obviously won't be able to KO without locking itself into Earthquake, which means that he'll be able to get off a Psychic on me, I just go into Kingdra. It's not really a good switch in at all, but it's not like I have anything else to deal with Jirachi, so this is going to be pretty awkward, like I said. And I narrowly survived that. I do have a bit of special defense investment, so I thought I might be able to, although it's really close, just 20 HP. And I do get that Waterfall off, which is good. It turns out that both Heatran and Jirachi outsped his Jirachi. Wait, what am I saying? Both Heatran and Kingdra outsped his Jirachi. So he must have been running a defensive spread with the bold nature most likely, or else I definitely wouldn't be able to outspeed. So he goes into Flygon now. I switch Gengar in on the U-turn. He gets a crit, which is kind of annoying, but it's not really that bad. So he goes into Smeargle, and I wasn't sure what he's going to do, maybe set up, so I just went for a Focus Blast, and actually got tricked the Choice Scarf. I completely forgot about that. Actually, I personally didn't run Trick on my Choice Scarf Smeargle, so I guess that's why I wasn't expecting that. But thankfully, I didn't miss with Focus Blast, because that would have just been annoying. But now he gets a free switch into Gengar, his own Gengar, which is probably a sub-split. Yeah, substitute pain splits. And he gets a free setup, which is really bad. So just to get my momentum back, I'm going to have to sacrifice Azelf, which isn't too bad, but because it's asleep. So it's not really like there's anything else I can do with it. And I'm definitely going to die to that because, I mean, it's a Life Orb Shadow Ball. It's super effective, and Azelf is really frail. So that thing's behind a sub, and there's not really much I can do to it. So I was just going to do a Shadow Ball, and he switches to Blissey for some reason. I don't know why he wouldn't just stay in with the sub and finish me off with Shadow Ball. Maybe he didn't want to lose his sub. I'm not sure. I think it would have been a pretty good trade-off for him. But anyway, I ended up over-predicting, and I guess maybe he did too. We both thought the other would switch. I thought he'd go back into Gengar. He thought I would switch to a different Pokemon. So we both end up using pretty useless moves in that situation. Anyway, I go back into Flygon just in case he tried to go for a Thunder Wave that time. But he ended up he didn't. So I'm just going to U-turn out, and he actually stays in, which is annoying. So I am going to go back into Gengar and hopefully scare him off with a Focus Blast this time. Although I'm predicting that he'll definitely go into Gengar because the Focus Blast is really obvious. So I ended up over-predicting again and using Shadow Ball as he Thunder Waves me. So yeah, that was really annoying. I really shouldn't over-predict so much. It's definitely leading to me losing more than I win. So I go back into Kingdra just to fodder it. I wanted to save Flygon for later, so I didn't really want it to take any more damage. And now I'm just going to end things with a bang once again. Wow, that joke's getting pretty old. So I just use Explosion. I did lose my Life Orb, so it's not quite going to KO Blissey, but it still does a pretty good amount of damage considering that Gengar is not a physical attacker by any means. So obviously he wasn't expecting that. I really don't know why he didn't go into Gengar a single time. I mean, it would have been a pretty good switch in, especially that time just now. But now I've finally gotten him into KO range for Outrage, so I can get rid of Blissey. And I'm pretty sure that all the rest of his Pokemon, Gengar and Flygon, I can sweep through. As long as his Flygon isn't Jolly, because then he might win the speed tie and actually beat me. But yeah, I ended up outspeeding him, so either he was adamant or I just ended up winning a second speed tie, in which case I would have been really lucky. So now he goes into Gengar, and of course I'm going to outspeed him, but he runs away. So next time, suck it up and be a man.